One of the most loved beta machines ever produced. Let's crack on. Hello, welcome to another MrBetaByte video, and this one's a little bit different insofar as we are looking at my secret favorite machine in many ways. I mean, these machines I sort of cut my teeth on and got me into repairing video recorders and TVs as well, I suppose you could say. But these machines were the gateway to me fixing stuff, and yeah, I have a real soft spot for them. Even though they are not that well loved at all. People hate them, and to a degree I can see why. The Toshiba V9600 is a very flawed machine in many ways. Some say the quality is not that good of the video. I've found them to be pretty okay, to be honest. But the big thing with these is that I don't think they got the memo from Sony about how to actually do the head drum. And that is, you do need that air cushion, which Sony machines generate using that fan assembly on the top. Right the way through, they had a fan which pushed a small amount of air past the head disc through the head gap, basically just stop the wear to the same extent that these machines do actually suffer from. So I think that made sense. So yeah, I know Sanyo's didn't have that fan, but then Sanyo's unlaced, and that would have been something Toshiba should have done. Given their fairly sort of I don't know, they really sort of put a lot into the ethic of their devices, that they're all about quality and usability and reliability, and they obviously didn't when it came to Betamax or Beta. So this is a repair, and the first thing I'm going to do, because you can see it's pretty grubby, I'm going to give the outside of this a jolly good clean, and then we will delve in and actually see if we can get this up and running. Should be quite a fun one, this. I'm really looking forward to it, because like I say, I cut my teeth on these. So yeah, they do have a place in my heart, I suppose you could say. See, there's a bit of a dent there. I think that's from that's transit damage to me, but that's fine, we can push that out. But otherwise it seems to have survived the journey quite well. So yeah, let's crack on. So looking a lot better. I've actually taken the bottom cover off as well, I see it up there, just to get it completely dusted out as best I can. I haven't been too thorough, but I just wanted to get out sort of all of the dust, because it's obviously very dusty. I've taken the dent out a bit, but you can still see it a little bit there. Actually looks worse on the camera, but I will press that out a bit more with some care and gentle persuasion. So yeah, it's looking a heck of a lot better now. I can actually see nicotine glaze on the inside of the clock window as well. So yeah, and obviously on the counter window. Didn't quite make that out, but yeah, cleaned pretty much everywhere, and all of this will come off anyway. So this machine, basically, like I say, it's a repair, and it's coming from Phil. Hi Phil, hope all is well with you. I've already undone the screws, as you've probably noticed. And I'll tell you the story about this machine. It's really quite cool, to be honest. But he did power it on, and within seconds, the whiffy RIFA filter cap has gone bang. Very common on these, or anything really that has that type of RIFA capacitor. They absorb moisture. The plastic cracks absorbs moisture, and then you put mains across it and they go bang. So that needs to come out. Probably the fuse is blown as well. So while I take that out, I will fill you in on the history of this machine. Let's crack on. Okay, so here's the history of the machine as sent to me via email from Phil. So my dad recently discovered our old Toshiba V9600 video recorder in the loft, which was our family's first VCR that he purchased for £329.99 in November 1982. It was in use in our family home from 1982 to 1991, when it was replaced with a more modern VHS machine due to a front-loading system issue where it would only allow you to eject the tape after 48 tries of pressing the eject button. I remember doing this as a child and getting frustrated when it wouldn't eject my pirate copy of the film Convoy. And the picture quality started to fail in the end due to faulty dirty heads from memory. For some reason, my dad kept hold of the Toshiba Betamax along with a box of all his old Betamax tapes with various films, TV programs and family videos from back in the day. The original instruction manual and even the original bill of sale from 1982. Unfortunately, my dad is no longer in the best of health, and since rediscovering the old Betamax, he has expressed an interest in wanting to re-watch his hidden goldmine of Betamax tapes again. I went around to his house today and powered up the machine for the first time since 1991, and it came on flashing the green clock digits for 5 seconds and then made an electrical popping sound and threw a wisp of smoke out of the top of it. I went online to search for more information on this model video recorder, and up came your YouTube videos. The issues with the V9600 machines you deal with on your YouTube channel are the same kind of issues my dad's machine has had, by the looks of it. Due to fond memories our family has of this machine, and the serious sentimentality it has to me and my dad in particular, I was wondering if it would be possible for you to have a look at it with a view of going through it from top to bottom and returning it to something like its fully functioning former glory. So yeah, that's great. So, and then the last email prior to it arriving here, other than a quick dust off, it's pretty much exactly how it was when it was last used in 1991, complete with genuine 1980s Embassy No. 1 nicotine stains and a couple of spatters of magnolia paint from when Mum decorated the living room in 1988. Feel free to remove any of the stains if you wish, as I'd like her to look as close as possible to her 1982 glory days. If it can be repaired, of course. So, yeah, really nice. And, yeah, so let's continue to try and get this machine up and running and get it as tidy and nice as we can. Let's crack on. Okay, so I've had a dig around. I was debating whether to actually bother putting a cap back in, but I've had a dig around and found a 0.1 microfarad, which is what it is. 250 volts, X2. So yeah, but this is encapsulated, so we shouldn't get the same problems with age. Okay, so we are in a state in theory to power this on, but because I've already removed the bottom and dusted it out, I do actually know how bad the belts are, and the belts are always bad in these. But there's the RIFA, what's left of it, well and truly exploded. That was actually floating about in the deck, so got that out. Now actually I turned it over and gave it a bit of a tap just to free anything else that might be in there. There was very little, but yeah, so it's 0.1 microfarad, 250 volt I believe. So same sort of thing that I've put in there, so that's all good. So I think the next thing I'm going to do is let's get this front panel off, because that's going to need a good clean anyway. But I want to get the front loading system off, and so press the tabs. So the tabs are on the side there, just press them in. Our lot comes off, and yeah, that's pretty mucky. So I have to give that a clean. All of this will have to be cleaned as well. I sort of regret not taking the front off earlier actually and cleaning it, but hey ho, it's all good, not a problem. Yeah, I almost want to take this back outside actually and just give this a brush off. So yeah, I'll do that. It's gonna make a lot of sense. So yeah, let's crack on. Okay, so next thing is I'm going to take the front loading system off, and we'll I've got a belt kit from Star Components, belt kit and idler, so that's brilliant. Would be nice to power it up, I know, but I want to get everything sorted, and we do know, or I know, that there is a belt well and truly disintegrated, which these do suffer from, so we'll have a look at that as well. But I'm going to change the plug because it's, well, yeah, it'd be interesting to see actually what is in there. Oh, 5-amp fuse. It's had a bit of a tug at some point as well by the looks. I think what I'll do is I'll just chop it off, and we'll start again. Nettle. All done and properly fused and everything, so let's get the top on it, and let's get this front loading system out. 4 screws in total, so 2 right at the back and 1 down there. You can't quite see that, no you can't. So down there. Now I'd like to think that the problem with the front loading system where you can eject, that is going to be down to the belt. But we shall see. The grease seems pretty hardened as well, so yeah, we shall see. So, oh, screw came out with that one, that's fine. So there's a connector down there, and then there is actually a connector here as well for the tape in indicator, cassette in. I should be able to lift this up now. I seem to remember kind of fouled the cabling a little bit. There we go. Super. Lovely. So, it's very mucky. I want to clean all this grease off as well. Pinch roller's seen better days, but we can clean that up. I don't know whether I've got another one actually, but yeah, and the belt on the top there, you can see on the counter, is decidedly not happy, so we'll change that as well. But yeah, I'll just carefully, well actually, let's just take the idler off. So idler off, and then so clutch off and then the idler, and yeah, that's going to need a really good clean up. So have to be a bit careful with this because it will slide completely free and pop out. You can see there, this can now lift. And yeah, in fact I think I've already done it, yeah, because the whole thing will lift out, so that's fine, you know, but it's just something to be aware of when you're reassembling it. So I'm going to clean all that grease off, and yeah, we'll have to take the spool off as well. Well, I'll take both spools off. It's always interesting because you've got to loosen this off to get the counter belt out, but yeah, that's fine. And we've got the fun job of getting these undone, which I tend to use a blade of a screwdriver just to sort of, they're clips that clip on to an indentation on the top of the shaft there. So yeah, I'll get and do all that, give it a good clean, and we'll take it from there. Let's crack on. Okay, it's quite a bit cleaner now, but what I'm trying to do at the minute, spot some more grease that I missed, is get these spools off, and the plastic is decidedly very brittle, unsurprisingly. And I think what you're supposed to do is get like there's a special tool, you sort of press down in the middle of the spool and it splays out the plastic tabs, but I don't have that, and I haven't got anything really suitable. But this one looks as if one of the tabs is already broken. This has never been worked on, so well, it has actually come off okay, but this one feels as if one of them's already. But yeah, this, I mean, literally, this has been used from 1982 to nearly 10 years solidly, and has never been worked on, which is pretty cool, really. Oh, there we go. Oh no, tabs are fine. Don't know why I thought one was broken. So let's pull that off. So one spool. It's black on the right, and then making sure there aren't any washers. One on the left. They're not clutched or anything. They're just literally solid rollers, very tarnished. So I think I'm going to wash these, and we can now lift out that belt. In fact, let's take the belt out altogether because it will need to come out anyway. So 2 screws. And there is actually alignment for this, but you can sort of work it out. Let's clean that off. You sort of work it out from where the screws actually go. I say there's alignment. Well, there isn't really. There's flexibility. That's the way to put it. So lift off that and washers underneath. Take that belt off. So I'll give this a clean as well. Back tension band doesn't look too bad, which is good. And lift off this one as well. Make sure there's no washers. Then got a washer on the top. And a couple of washers. So yeah, there's a bit of calibration going on there to ensure that they're perfect. So there's actually quite a thick washer there, and then another one on top, and then it goes on from there. Let's put a bit of grease on that, clean this up as well. So the edge of the LC mechanism. Now, last time I worked on one of these, a couple of comments actually, I think anyway, saying that these were an absolute pain in the neck. But you know, I've never had, well, I say I've never. Once I had to do a bit of work on the module, but it wasn't bad at all. I mean, obviously these days you're not going to get parts for them, but yeah, I always found them quite reliable, to be honest. I will put a little bit of silicone lube in there. Just trying to clean everything up really as I go along, as much as I can. Actually, I was saying about putting silicone lube. I don't know whether you really should. The manual makes no mention. From what I can remember anyway, makes no mention of actually lubricating it. It would be quite nice to maybe put a little bit of, there's a tiny bit there as it spins around. So I'm just giving the back tension a little bit of a dust really. I don't want to do too much to it because I don't want to change its characteristics, but keep spotting bits of dust that I've missed or that are really difficult to get to. You're probably noticing as well just how shiny that upper drum is, so that's going to have to be resurfaced in the fullness of time. But I'm fully anticipating these heads to be completely had it, to be fair, which is fine because we do have new heads. Okay, so I'll get this little lot washed, and we'll take it from there. Okay, so I've cleaned pretty much everything up as best I can, and I'm just going to put the tiniest amount. I'm sort of guarding the tape path as I do this, because obviously I don't want to spray the tape path. And then we've got to put, so I've washed everything up very carefully. That's running quite well. And then we've got to put 2 washers on the second washer. Like I say, you don't want to lose these because they are critical to the spacing of the height of the spools. So yeah, got to be a bit careful. And then the back tension, the hair there, and pulled the little lever out the way there. It's feeling quite good. And then spool, so there's nothing on this side. Actually tempted to put a little bit of silicone actually down the spool guide. There's still a few little marks on there, but it is clean, so it's certainly a lot better than it was. Little clip goes on the top. Just carefully push that on, give it a little wiggle as well, just to get it on. Then let's get these belts out, put the counter belt on. Actually, it was a bit tight. There we go. So that's running well. We've already, like I say, got the washers on. So again, I'm just going to put a little bit of silicone grease down the actual hole there, and just move the brake out of the way. There's actually a little bit much there, so let's take a bit of that out, and then clip for that side. Magic. Okay, so that's one belt off, one belt done. It's a good start. So next is the idler. So idler tyre, and this has seen better days. It's quite shiny, not too bad. I would be surprised it actually still worked okay. And there's actually a bit of bloom on that, but that's fine. It's brand new. I'll say it's brand new. I've probably had it in stock about 12 months. Let's give it a little bit of a clean. I seem to remember these are a bit of a fiddle to get on. That's not the front loading system off the top of the machine. So it's a bit of a tight fit, but yeah, that's looking pretty good. So before I put that on, there's the old tyre. I'm going to grease all of this. I'm going to use, it just had standard sort of grease on there. I'm going to use graphite grease. So that should be a lot better. So still see a smear of grease there. Let's just get that off. I mean, it doesn't really matter too much, not down there, but yeah, there's some staining there as well, but that's fine. So yeah, I'll getting grease that's all up, and we'll put it all back together. Okay, so it's all greased up and running rather nicely, I think. So let's make sure I haven't got grease actually on me. Idler goes on. Seems to run all right. And then the clutch. I remember they used to recommend you change the clutch every time you change the idler, but I don't know anyone who ever did, and I certainly didn't, and never seemed to really have any real problems. Like I say, you're supposed to, but no, I suppose I sort of see why they'd say that. And there we go. So I suppose the next thing, well, I'm tempted to put this pinch roller is pretty okay. There's a couple of little pits on it, but I don't think that's going to cause any real issues. It's been well and truly cleaned. Let's press that back on, and that went sort of in line with that, so sort of parallel lines, so that's roughly in the right place. I think that does adjust the amount of pressure, so yeah, I just wanted to get that right. Yeah, the capstan's going to need a good clean, but we'll be taking that out, no doubt, and when we clean the top of that as well when we do the belts. So let's do the belts. Already taken 2 of the 3 screws out. So just put it down a bit so it can drop. There we go. I'll clean up these connectors on the front as well in the fullness of time, but we have fun because the capstan belt is, well, some of it's still there, but it's pretty much just gone to go. So yeah, that's going to be fun. And I mean, all the belts are a bit shabby. That one, the LC belt, is a bit the worse for wear. So I'm going to take off the actually remove the flywheel for the capstan, or the capstan, because it's the whole thing after all. And there should be washers there, I think. There's one, no, there's not one at the top. Oh, there weren't actually any. I always thought these did have washers. Anyway, this one hasn't. Yeah, so it's pretty grim. So yeah, I won't show cleaning this off. It's, yeah, it's pretty poor. Yeah, I'm going to put some gloves on as well because it's horrible, this stuff, and give it a good clean as well, and we'll take it from there. Well, that was pretty grim, to be honest. Very, very mucky and horrible. And yeah, I scraped off the main of it with this from an iPad repair kit. I managed to cover myself in black, and then I just use isopropyl and some tissue just to get it nice and clean. I've also cleaned the shaft, so it's really very clean now. Well, the next thing to do actually is clean the capstan motor, because that is actually very, very covered in belt. So yeah, and when I was cleaning out the actual board, there are bits of belt all around here, so I've removed any remnants of goo from the board as well, so that's good. Oh yeah, that is really very bad. It's almost, yeah, it's actually caused corrosion. So this machine must have been in the damp, like well and truly in the damp, and yeah, okay, the RIFA's popped in it, which is a good sign, but RIFA's popped with the slightest amount of moisture, to be honest. It is actually cleaning up quite well. Really, it's quite corroded there. See, bits of green have come off, but it will be okay. It will be fine. But yeah, it's just not ideal. I'm trying not to get it into the motor shaft actually, because that would not be a good thing. So I'll clean this up anyway, and we'll take it from there. So not too bad. It's a bit tarnished. I've given it a really good clean. I even used some Brasso on it actually, and clean the shaft as well. Isopropyl just to neutralize anything that might be there. And it's completely smooth. There's no ridges or bumps or lumps on it at all. It's absolutely fine. Like I say, it's just a bit tarnished. So capstan, and there's a little plastic collar. So if you see a plastic collar floating about after you've taken this off, that's where it's from. And it's something I have a nasty habit of forgetting, to be honest. So that's running nicely. And then get the belt. The belt actually seems a little bit better than the original. I suppose, see what it's like after 20 years. Lovely. And then there's no contamination on that, which is great. That way. I think it is. Super. So that's that. And I'll clean up my gooey mess before I put meal in it or something, tread in it. So I never quite remember. Well, I seem to remember it's easy to take off and difficult to put on. It's just not quite enough clearance to sort of do a slick belt install. And I can't ever do it from underneath or on top. I just know every time I do this I do it a different way, so Gosh, this belt is right on the brink of going to go. And I mean, to be fair, I think you're supposed to take the LC unit out and service it at the same time. I have never done that, and I've never really had a cause to be fair, so let's just give this a clean. Bamboo does not always go very well. Spin the motor a bit and clean it. Yeah, there's a little bit of black on there. That belt was right on the brink of going to go. I seem to remember I go like that, and then somehow I get it on the next bit. Oh gosh, that's going terribly wrong, isn't it? To be fair, I tend not to do the belt quite like this. Can't remember how I used to do it. I got really quite good at it, and like all these things you sort of forget. You just remember how the wrong way to do it. Is that actually going on? Well, that's gone on. I don't know how I did it. So got the belt as far over on this side as I could, and then just hooked it over the back, and it sort of slipped between the pulley and the metal bit there, and went on the top. And that was actually not too bad, and I'm quite surprised. Okay, so that's all done, so I can put the panel back up. I'm probably going to just put a little bit of, well, I'm going to clean these sockets because they're quite grubby, and put a little bit of deoxit in the tracking control. I know it will make it a bit sort of extra flexible because it'll lubricate it, but I think it would be a good idea to actually lubricate this one. If I'm careful, I might be able to not disturb the grease and just get the actual wiper. But yeah, anyway, let's crack on. That is looking a lot better. You can clean the pores, a little bit of deoxit in that. I have cleaned the tracking control as well, though I could actually do a cleaning the actual plastic of it as well. Bit of dust there as well. I don't know, can't get the staff, can you? Let's crack on. So next is a front loading system, and as you can see it's pretty grim. So Yeah, obviously we need to change the belt, and yeah, so I'm going to give this a clean and try and get it just as clean as I can. Put a bit of silicone lubricant on it, clean out as much grease as I can, and we should be all good. So I'll get and do that, and we'll take it from there. Okay, so giving it a pretty good clean. It's not perfect by any way, shape or form, but it should be okay, I think. I get a little bit nervous just because plastics are getting brittle at this sort of age, and the less I've got to pull things about, the better. But on the other hand, I do want it clean. I seem to remember I've got to take that gear off. It's actually not a bad excuse to just clean everything up. And does that slide out now? No, it unclips, that's right, unclips from this side. So it should, yeah, well, it just unclips. Not from that side necessarily, but now there are washers, and I can remember these can be a bit of a pain in the neck to get back in position. But it does mean that you can give this all a jolly good clean. It's just some isopropyl. Let's get the worst of it off. I mean, the main thing is where the belt runs. You'll see in a second, the other bits actually come up quite well. It must have used fairly good quality plastics, I would suggest. I'm no expert on this, on plastics, but they seem pretty okay. And then I'm going to put a fairly good dollop of grease. I've actually put, you can see there, I've put really too much at this stage, but that's fine. I'll clean these gears off a bit as well. Okay, so the fun begins. Oh, it's actually quite, oh, there's fluff in there. I say it feels quite yeah, some fluff. Probably drag that through myself, to be honest, but I did notice there was some floating about. So again, just want to put a little bit of grease on that. And the washers, like I say, pain in the neck to get on. Then would help to put the belt out. Whoop. I had to get it in there because it does actually slightly poke through. And then just put that on there. Yeah, so that belt was pretty end of life as well. Then I'm going to put just the tiniest amount of grease on here. And then put the gear back on. And so clip or E-clip. And flat blade screwdriver. There we go. should be pretty good. Just run that grease in a little bit. Lovely, that's about right actually. Just put this back on. And then we need to, so like I said, I've cleaned it the best I can. There's actually a bit of rust coming on the on various parts of it. I seem to remember you could buy these. Well, they're quite commonly replaced then, these plastic bits. I don't know why I remember that, but there we go. I think they did get broken off quite frequently. And then just bend. Let's bend this back. So bend this out and lift it off. And you have to be a bit careful doing it because you want it to stay fairly true. Actually, that does have to bend back slightly because there's a gap for it to sit into. Oh, that's it. There's a bit of flimsiness to these things, so yeah, but let's get it put back in. And in theory, you should be able to power it up and just see how bad these heads are. I have a feeling they're going to be pretty bad. Let's crack on. Okay, so let's drop this back in and put the connector on. Put it on before I get too far. I'm feeling like I've forgotten something. And again, it's that thing. I've done this over a couple of days. And I always get this feeling that I have forgotten something, and invariably have. Anyway, let's drop that down. And really, it should sit. Should try saying that. Should sit flush. Yeah, sort of happening. Oh, I didn't clean that. Okay, so I'm just going to move the camera because I can't actually see what's stopping this from sitting flush. Oh, that's not very good, does it? Yeah, I need to grease this as well. Okay, so I've cleaned that up. It was actually sitting right. It was just the whole thing was trying to tip forward a little bit, so sort of tipped it back, and you know, it's not rocking about or anything, so that's fine. So let's get these screws in. Magic. So I think we are ready to give this a test. Let's crack on. So, moment of truth. Let's power it up. So far, so good. Lovely. Okay, so I suppose the next thing is to try tape. And I don't even know what's on this. It looks a bit worse for wear, but I just think, well, let's... That's not a good start. So it thinks it's laced when it actually isn't. Now, can I remember what does that? Is that fun? I remember this being an issue with these machines. I don't know whether, I can't remember if it's an alignment issue with the LC mechanism or the mode switch. Now Yes, I wonder if it is actually, it's a tape end sensor. And yes, I remember there is an adjustment for it. Yes, can I remember where that is? Let's just pull the power and unplug those. Might not necessarily be the end sensor that's bad. Okay, so let's drop the panel again. I seem to remember there was an adjustment for the end sensor sensitivity and just the tiniest tweak on it and it'll work. Could be wrong, but I seem to remember it won't lace if there's a problem with the end sensors. Oh, now where was it? Rewind oscillator, fast forward oscillator. So it's on the panel here. There. What was going on there? Like goo on the top of those. Sticky. It's probably from the belt. But yeah, it doesn't look very nice, does it? Okay, so let's make sure we've got nothing underneath. And I suspect it is the rewind oscillator. Oh, we might have a bad sensor. Fast forward. Is it the fast forward one? Right. I don't seem to have any rewind at all. Oh, I'm pressing the wrong button. So, rewind. There we go. So they both needed adjustment. So fast forward till it stops, and then back it off a bit. But I don't seem to be getting any idler action. Oh, I can hear it going, but it seems to be maybe stuck. Might have to give it a little wiggle, bit of an incentivize. It sounds like it's trying to, but it's not. Okay, let's pull the power again and put this back up. I have a feeling I might be dropping this panel again. So I'm just going to put one screw in. Okay, so let's see if it now laces. Yeah, there we go. But certainly not much action. Oh. So it's trying to. Oh dear. I might have to service that again. I've obviously missed to clean something properly. It's just slipping. You can hear it slipping on the spool. Fast forward. But Well, there's a fair bit of torque there. I do just wonder if a lot of it is just the drum's so shiny. And BASF cassette as well. Sounds like it's given up. Okay, so that's playing. Yeah, seems to be plenty of torque there. I think this is literally the drum's so shiny. Let's just start this. Might get a copyright strike on this, but yeah, it's looking pretty. Looking pretty grim. So let's pause it. Oh, I pressed eject. So it's not leaving tape behind. I think it is just literally that is so shiny. Press play. I was trying to think which machine I'm getting this muddled with when it comes to the buttons. So pause. And if I press play, because it has got an advance. Now, I haven't cleaned the heads yet, I have to say. But it could well be a video fault, but I really wouldn't be surprised if the heads are bad. It does sort of look a little bit like, yeah, because the copy box is trying to get the clear frames. It's dropping frames to get rid of the snow. Interesting. Okay. Well, I may well just give the heads another, well, a clean. I don't think I've actually, no, I haven't cleaned the heads. So I've cleaned the rest of the tape path and the lower drum as well, but I haven't actually cleaned the head. So yeah, I'll do that and try again. Well, I've cleaned the heads. Not much came off, to be honest, but yeah, you can see one problem I've got taking the upper drum off. The bit of copper foil has dropped off, which is a bit annoying. I don't know whether that's another bit of something there, or whether that's just how it's machined. I think it actually came from there, because I moved the head round. So I think it is actually from there. To give a clue on the drum. No, it suggests it is actually, oh, I don't know. The upper drum though, I mean, that is so shiny. There's no air cushion there at all. So I'm going to take the heater off and the top plastic guide, and we'll resurface it. I'll do it the same way as I do with the Sonys, in the hope that we can sort of get this somewhere near. The heads don't look too bad, I have to say, but we shall see. I'm not convinced that they are going to be okay, but obviously I can't really glue this back on because the glue will change the gap, so I just have to try and find a way of stopping it from falling off again. But yeah, anyway, let's crack on. Oh, that's it resurfaced. Doesn't look too bad. It's interesting how different it looks on the camera. Looks like there's a scratch there. Oh, there's actually a very fine scratch there. Oh, that's fine. Quite where that's from, because obviously I go horizontal. So something struck that at some point. But that's fine. It's you can bear, well, you can't feel it at all, or a tiny bit on the top bit, but it misses that anyway. Tape will miss that. Just about see where I've taken it off. It took quite a bit of doing. I think the alloy is fairly soft compared to like the Sony, especially the later Sonys. So yeah, And I did clean off the top of the head disc a little bit, but I'm not terribly worried. But yeah, so I'll put this back in, and oh, I put the copper back on. What I did is I put a bit of super glue either side, because this is considerably bigger or wider than the standoff here. Just put a bit either side and then glued it that way, so there's no glue actually behind it on the mating surface, but there is either side of it to stop it falling off again. So hopefully that should be okay, but we'll no doubt find out. The thing is, I've taken so much off this anyway, it's not going to be perfect, but well, let's see what it's like. Let's crack on. Okay, so here we go again, all back together. Let's start a capture. Let's see how much worse this is. Oh, well, that's sorted that. Yeah, this is literally, I mean, it was so shiny, it was just slick, so no wonder it was struggling to wind and rewind. Yeah. Tracking. So yeah, that is pretty poor. Let's turn the sound off because it's obviously going to go terribly wrong. Yeah. So let's try colour bars. I'm going to have to rewind this, which seems absolutely fine. Still dust on this thing. I'm not going to get all the dust out of this, am I? It's just not going to happen. But as long as majority of it is clean, I'm happy. And obviously anywhere where the tape's going to touch, especially, as long as that's clean. Yeah, this sounds a little bit. I can hear the head drum actually hunting. Which I might be able to suppress possibly if I put, because it's looking for, it's on TV. See if that steadies the head drums. The head drum. Okay. Yeah. Let's get some sound. Yeah, it's pretty awful, isn't it? Looks like head switching is a bit weird. Could be head switching, or it could be that mark on the drum. I must have done it. I don't know how I managed it, but I must have done it because nobody's ever been in this machine before. And I probably will have to do something with take up, because you can see there the back tension. Sorry, the take up tension slack sensor is wobbling about, which is a good sign that it's not really taking up the tape particularly well. Although again, yeah, we'll just have to weigh that one up, I think. But okay, I'm going to rewind this cassette, and I think I'm just going to go for it and change the heads. I've got a head disc here. Phil wants it as good as possible, so putting new heads on would be good. These are notorious for getting through head discs, but obviously, I mean, this is done really well. It's all original, and it went from like 82 to 91, and saw quite a lot of use, obviously. So yeah, there you go. I suppose a lot of it's probably down to the cassettes that were used in it as well, possibly. Be interested to know what cassettes he actually did use, but yeah, I might just find that out. But anyway, yeah, so I'm going to rewind this cassette, and then let's change these heads. Let's crack on. So that's rewound successfully. It did struggle, and I think as I'm doing the heads, I'll resurface the lower drum as well, because it's going to be just as bad, I'm sure. Hopefully that should improve things, but I don't think it's going to be anywhere, well, I say I don't think it's going to be anywhere near. It's not going to be quite as good ever as when it left the factory. I just can't give it enough sort of, if you like, air gap for the tape to ride over as smoothly as it did when it was brand new. But you know, it works. That's the main thing. So let's eject the cassette and let's get these heads swapped. I do actually have some genuine Toshiba heads from Domberg. Actually bought 2 lots, and I remember I missed out on buying these. Toshiba were actually selling these off dirt cheap in the late 80s, I think it is, probably about 89, 90. I think they were either 12 or 15 pounds a set, a lot cheaper than they were list. And like I said, I just missed out on them. It was stock clearance, getting rid of them. So yeah, but Domberg still had some in stock, bizarrely, and I bought them. I don't know if they've got any left now. I have a feeling I might have bought the last 2, but anyway, let's crack on. Can't believe I forgot to put that back in. So I think what I'm going to do, actually, just to make it easier for you guys to see as well what I'm doing with the changing the head disc, I'm going to take the front loading system back off, and obviously put this back on. I can check, just double check everything is okay with the spools as well, and yeah, that should be good. But yeah, I'll get and do that now. So this screw here at the back, actually quite a common thing to do. I slightly stripped the head off the screw. I managed to get it out fine, but the old one, won't be able to see this very well, but the old one was quite damaged in the end, so that had to go. Okay, so heads are desoldered and unscrewed. So triangle to triangle, circle to circle, and yeah, I've got red. It says G green there, but it's yellow, and then yellow, white W. So the G is yellow, and off those come. And ooh, there's some grime going on down in there. Just going to give that a bit of a... Gosh, that really is quite grim in there. There's also, let's try and mind that thing that I've just glued on. Spacer. So I might just give this a blowout. As well, and do want to resurface this. What I'm going to do as well, I seem to remember I have to do this anyway because I've got an odd way of having to do these because I haven't got all the right bits for the jig for the eccentricity gauge. So I'm going to take the front loading system driver board out and dusty all under there. So it's a good opportunity just to give the whole thing a bit of a dust. Clean. I could do with just cleaning inside the rail as well. Just with some isopropyl on a cotton bud. I'll do a little bit of that now. Let's clean it up. I keep seeing bits of dust that I've missed, and I find it frustrating because I think, oh, I've done a really good job, I've cleaned it, and I haven't. So yeah, that'll do. The main of it is actually pretty clean now. Let's give it a little bit more. Have a clean. No, that spring's come off from there again. They must have just caught that. Okay, that's fine now. Okay, so it's always a bit interesting doing the lower drum. I only want to do really from around here on. It'd be nice to take the whole lot out, to be fair, but I am not going to do that. I've just spot a whole load more dust that I've missed. So again, just running in the direction of tape travel. And I tend to like to do this equally all the way around, but it's a little bit more difficult on the lower drum just because of where everything is and stuff getting in the way. There we go. So it is really very mucky around there. So let's try and get off as much as I can. Okay, so here goes. Should do more unboxings. There we go. It has got marks on it, actually, interestingly, but no, it has been open at some point. So I wonder if this is a return or something. But oh dear, yeah. I mean, that's fine. Oh, green. It's actually got green on it. Yeah, I mean, they look fine. So triangle, and do it the way I did the last lot, which is not to solder the heads yet. It's literally going to tighten up the, well, loosely fit the screws. And first screw. Second screw, just loosely. And then try and put on the eccentricity gauge. And I actually 3D printed a little thing that I can't actually remember how I use. Yes, I put the screw in here. It's the only one I could find that fitted fairly well. I suppose I could use the actual screws, but anyway, well, yeah, that might be better. I don't even know how I used this. Oh, was it a spacer? Yes, I think that's what it was, wasn't it? Okay, so I just had to watch back my previous video because I just couldn't remember how I did it. And what threw me is I didn't have that. Just to go like so. And then I'm just going to move the chip out of the way. Then this is a spacer that I made. And I did actually, on that video, I did actually move the loading. Oh, I don't know whether I need to do that. But we'll see. I moved the loading assembly. So do I have to move that? So yeah. I don't know quite why I had to. Yeah. So that's why I've got to move the lacing ring, because I can't drop the gauge far enough down to actually get to the disc. So I should be able to move the cam assembly back. It's 2 screws that hold that. I should be then able to roll it out the way. There we go. That's the way I would do it. So, but having said that, I haven't actually watched all the video. I can just see myself, I can just, you know, see me moving it and going, oh yeah, that's the way to do it. And it's just like, no. I mean, it is, but not that way. So this should now allow me to drop this down. This needs to go back a bit more if I can, so I can get more of the actual tip of the gauge, because the gauge has got to run on the top. Not striking their heads. So that's looking good. Perfect. So I am quite a bit out actually. I need to just move this slightly so I can get a bit better reading. See if I can actually get you in so you can see what the gauge is doing. Okay, so it's not easy to see, but you can see it's actually not terrible. So I need to get it halfway between those two. So if I push this way, do I go the right way? No, I think it's there. Let's put a little bit more torque on these. So whoop. It's not too bad. See what that looks like. Maybe shouldn't have done two. Let's do one. Oh, it's nearly there. I'm not looking for perfection. That's just a couple out. Oh, this is so slight. I think let's go there. Let's give it a tiny nudge. It's less than 5, isn't it? It's 2. So let's tighten these up. Just check. That looks pretty terrible again. Yeah, it's the gauge itself actually. Gauge is moving. Well, it's a total deflection of just under 5. So I'm going to call that good. I'm happy with that. Right on the edge of spec, that's for sure. But I'm happy with that. Let's put a little bit of fresh solder on. Sort of intrigued to see what this machine's like. Slight problem I have is I am running out of time again. Seems to be the story of my life at the moment. But hey ho, it is what it is. Okay, that's looking fairly good. Right, up a drum. Make sure that's sat nicely. Try it across the thread. That would be good, wouldn't it? Okay, so we should be able to pull this back around. And whoop, tighten this back up. And to my mind, there is actually a bit, I'm going to clean it actually, there is actually a bit of slack. I noticed it when I was originally sort of doing the deck, but bring that back. I mean, to be fair, putting the belt on, if you pull this back, it might make it easier. I don't know. I always seem to manage to do it somehow. But yeah, it's fine. Okay, I'm going to put the front loading system back on. Looking at the idler assembly, I can actually see, oh, you can make out, there's little bits of rubber on there. So this has really struggled to drive, and it is just literally excessive torque. There's a couple of marks on there as well. Yeah, little bits of rubber where it's been trying really hard to drive the reels. So yeah, I just hope that everything will be okay. I was just a bit concerned. There's a little bit of muck there, so I might just go around and just clean that from where I resurfaced it. So yeah, I'll do that as well, and put the front loading system on it, and obviously put the board back as well, and we should be good to go. Let's crack on. Okie dokie, got to rush a little bit because everything's going flat. My light's going flat, phone's going flat. Oh, what have I forgotten? Oh, have I? Right, well that was a bit out of time, but it's sorted itself out. It's seeming better. It's probably going to be a bit sore because after all my putting about. Right, play. Okay, so I think the problem I have now is alignment. So let me just eject this. I just wonder, with everything that I've had to do to that drum, that it's all just out of kilter now. I mean, it actually looks okay. Yeah, it's the upper drum. So let me just start a capture and just turn off the tone. The audio actually isn't too bad, so that's encouraging. So let me just stop that. And I just don't think I've quite got, can I get you in? I've quite got, actually I had to start it again. So if I push the drum, yeah, if I push the upper drum, maybe you see that bit of copper is actually from this side, not from that side. Oh no. I did wonder. That's what it is, isn't it? Right, okay. Well, that's going to make life interesting. It was a 50-50 chance, but of course I've glued it now. Let's just get the screwdriver. Seems to do the best job because I can put the weight on it. Thing is, because that's calibrated, I mean, I just don't know how good the glue's going to be. I'm hoping the glue is not holding it very tight, because I can then whip it off and put it in its rightful place. I did wonder, like I say, it was a bit 50-50, wasn't it? Let's move the chips out of the way. Super. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just got to be enough just to keep it from sliding out the way, but also without affecting the alignment. There we go. Okay. We'll get away with that. Oh, we'll soon find out, won't we? Okay, let's try that again. Come on. Well, that's actually not too bad. Oh yes, there we go. So ideally, I mean, it is a little bit out. Yeah, I might be able to adjust that out with the guide. See if I go, that's furthest left. And then furthest right. It starts coming in. It's a bit of a problem. There's a few dropouts there as well. But I think what I'm going to have to do, because I'm running out of time, unfortunately. So we've got it working. We've got it functioning. We can track in, not a bad picture, but it is flashing. getting a lot of dropouts. I think that might need to be adjusted. I'm going to have to do something about that tape path. Like I say, I had to take so much off both the lower and the upper drum that it ain't true. It's just not true anymore. But yeah, I need to really get the Sony kit on it as well. Measure the torques, measure everything is correct. I probably need to go around the deck again, give it another clean. I probably could do with running it for a while as well, which I probably will do now. Now it's all mechanically working, just to bed everything back in, get the grease running through it properly. So yeah, what I'm going to do, I'm going to do part 2 because it is just really finishing off. But what I'll try and do is do an update video on it and just show you what I did really to actually get it working much better than it is now. But we have sort of accomplished quite a feat really, because it was quite a tired machine and it is working pretty well. You know, these machines are getting so old, but those heads were well and truly worn out. So I do wonder if the yellow wire denotes that it's from the factory and the green denotes that it's been replaced. Just a thought. I don't know if anybody's got any ideas on that. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this one. I know people aren't a fan of the Toshiba decks, and I do see why completely, but I do have a soft spot for them, and it's just nice to work on one again. It's what got me into all of this in the first place, and yeah, so I know they're fundamentally flawed, but yeah, I have very fond memories of them and a bit of a soft spot, so somebody has to after all. So with that, before any batteries go completely flat, thank you very much for watching. A like and subscribe would be fantastic as well, and I will hopefully see you in another video. Bye for now.